We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Mitch McConnell to step down. The White House calls for sanctuary cities to stop blocking immigration enforcement, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lupkin, and here's the news you need to know. Senator Mitch McConnell, the longest-serving party leader in Senate history, announced Wednesday he will step away from leadership in November. McConnell, who turned 82 last week, announced his decision in the well of the Senate shortly after noon Eastern Time, a place where he looked in awe from its back benches in 1985 when he arrived, and where he grew increasingly comfortable in the front row seat afforded the party leaders. One of life's most underappreciated talents is to know when it's time to move on to life's next chapter, he said in his floor speech. So I stand before you today to say that this will be my last term as Republican leader of the Senate. McConnell's decision comes as Republicans have expressed increasing discontent with his handling of the bipartisan border bill and national security supplemental package that included aid for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. The city of Denver on Monday announced some of its employees may have all their hours cut in order to reallocate funds towards dealing with the city's migrant crisis. The city of Denver is trying to avoid the word layoffs when it comes to impending budget cuts. So instead, they're telling some hourly on-call employees they may have their hours reduced to zero, city officials told the local NBC affiliate. Denver is looking to cut $4.3 million in funding from its Parks and Recreation Department and use that money towards handling the migrant crisis that has been stressing the city's resources. Denver Parks and Recreation's director, Jalon Clark, provided details on the budget cuts in a recent statement. The reduction in hours of operation and programs will affect the number of hours worked by many on-call, some to the point where they may not receive any hours, he told Channel 9 News. The final decision on hours for any individual positions have not been made yet. The White House is calling for sanctuary cities and jurisdictions across the U.S. to cooperate with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, in turning over criminal illegal immigrants for deportation, just as there is renewed scrutiny over such policies in the wake of several high-profile crimes committed by illegal immigrants who had previously been released by local law enforcement despite pleas from ICE. We welcome local law enforcement support and cooperation in apprehending and removing individuals who pose a risk to national security or public safety, a White House spokesperson said. When a local jurisdiction has information about an individual who could pose a threat to public safety, we want them to share that information with ICE. Just since May 12th, DHS has removed or returned more than 565,000 individuals, the vast majority of whom crossed the southwest border. 565,000 removals and returns is more than every full fiscal year since 2013, they said. Top congressional leaders unveiled a deal Wednesday to keep the federal government fully operating beyond Friday, when funding is scheduled to lapse for some agencies. Leaders said they will hold votes on a stopgap bill this week to avoid any lapse in government funding, followed by votes next month on full-year spending bills. We are in agreement that Congress must work in a bipartisan manner to fund our government, said a statement signed by House Speaker Mike Johnson, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, and the leaders of the appropriations committees in both the House and Senate. This has become an ongoing problem where Congress has not passed full-year spending packages and instead relies on stopgap funding bills to keep the government open. The Supreme Court agreed Wednesday to consider former President Donald Trump's argument that he has total legal immunity from any alleged crimes committed in office. That decision delays the federal criminal trial on Trump's efforts to overturn his 2020 loss. The Supreme Court will hear oral arguments on Trump's immunity claim the week of April 22nd. If the court rules against Trump, pretrial activity, frozen since mid-December, would resume and might last roughly 80 days. That would likely put jury selection in late August to October, barring further delays. And finally, Richard Lewis, the master of self-deprecating comedy, who whined his way to stardom with stand-up TV specials, a sold-out concert at Carnegie Hall, and turns on Anything But Love and Curb Your Enthusiasm, has passed away. He was 76. Lewis died peacefully Tuesday night at his home in Los Angeles after suffering a heart attack, his publicist told The Hollywood Reporter. The actor and comic revealed in April that he had been living with Parkinson's disease and was retiring from stand-up. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.